What's happening? What's happening? Steeler Nation. Welcome to the latest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, SimFBallCritic, however you want to pronounce it. But what is happening, guys? What is going on? What is going on? What's happening? Let's get right into it. Who's that says? Ron92 says, finally caught it live. Thank you for tuning in. I hope I live up to your expectations. So what we're going to get into tonight, guys, first and foremost, let me let you guys know something is happening with Blog Talk. Blog Talk is tripping. It will not allow me to connect to the show. I'm going to try it one more again. Try it right now while you guys are here. Let's see if it comes on. If not, it won't be no phone calls, which is really going to tick me off because I really want to hear from you guys today. But it doesn't look like Blog Talk Radio is going to cooperate with us. So in that case, what I'm going to do is take this canvas off for now, give it more of a cleaner look. I got to do a new one of those. It's not connecting, guys. I don't know what's happening. But again, when it's time for phone calls, I will try it again. Maybe they're experiencing some difficulties on their end. Obviously, they are. It will not connect. I don't know what's going on there. So my apologies, man. Hopefully, it'll start working as the show continues. But what's going on, everybody? Let's say hello to the early commenters, and then we'll get right into it. And what I'm pretty much going to do, man, is kind of go through some of my notes that I had for after the game. You guys know I did a quick post-game show, but I want to kind of go through it again and just to show you guys the type of things I was documenting, because I still feel the same way about the game, man. I really do. I really do. So let's get into it. Get closer to the screen here. Good brother Tony in the building. What's up, brother? Rajan 39, Globetrotter by Bruce Lee. Okay. Globetrotter by Bruce Lee. Who else is in here? Hello, Lanisha, what's going on, Miss Lady? Appreciate you coming through as you always do, fellas. Take time to say hello to our lovely ladies of Steeler Nation, and hopefully we get you lovely ladies back on the show pretty soon. I would love for that to happen. We shall see when that will be. Mark Cunningham. Who else is in here? Kev So Nice. Nobe 412. Destiny. What's up, Destiny? Another one of our wonderful lady listeners. Shout outs to Destiny and Lanisha here in here early. Say hello, fellas. Don't make me ask you again. Oh, another one. The Egyptian Queen. What's up, Egyptian Queen? And thank you, too. Thank you. I'll be catching you sometimes leaving comments on some of the videos, and my apologies to you and everyone else if I don't always respond. A lot of times I intend to. It's just that, when you get caught up doing one thing and doing something else, and then all these comments come in. But trust me, I see them all and I try to respond to them. I will promise this: I'll do a better job at least acknowledging that a comment was made. How about that? So hello to the Egyptian Queen, Dietrich Bundick, Vista Light. Why Diggy? What's up, Diggy? Who else? Joshua Shields, Leon Harris Jr., Brian Williams, Bettsburg, BQ 412, Dez. Is that my man? My man Dez, what's happening, my good brother? That's my man Dez. You guys might remember him from a while back. Baltimore Raven fan, lives in Baltimore. That's my dude right there. It's nothing but mutual respect. Dez, since you're here, it looks like you may have changed your name up a little bit, but I'm assuming that it is you. Maybe not, but I think it is. So let's assume it is. You guys lost that game. The Steelers did not win that game. You guys absolutely lost it. I'm going to talk a little bit more about it tonight. Steel City Film Room, what's good, man? James Trevant, hello, Tina. Another wonderful lady of the chat. Make sure, fellas, you say hello to our ladies. Respect them, treat them with care. Daryl Dukes, and Chris G. And we'll go ahead and get started right there. In the green TV as well, Derek Moore, and Infamous Tim, couple more names that I saw. Somebody said the peach is crazy. What happened? What y'all do? What did y'all do? Hold on. Okay, I don't know. I usually know what that emoji stands for, so but whatever. Let's get into it, man. Listen. Yeah, the Steelers did not win that ball game, folks, even though they did. The Ravens lost that ball game. So let's start this over, because again, you guys know I couldn't really get into my real full-fledged post-game show because I've condensed it. I've kind of condensed the post-game show. It's a lot shorter. It's kind of a knee-jerk reaction thing, but also I had friends and family over. Two of my best friends in the world, man, Ravens fans. They live out in the Baltimore area as well. We were here, had a nice dinner. My brother-in-law was here. Had good times, very good times, good food, good times. And, I wasn't going to stay on the show so long when I had them right upstairs. Just the gentleman in me. And, they enjoyed the show too. My good brothers had never seen it, so they upstairs watching it on the TV and all of that. It was cool. But anyway, let's get into a lot of this stuff that I wanted to dive into, and I'll be brief as I can. And hopefully the phone queue will turn on. Blog Talk Radio, listen, you've been good here lately. But we had some bouts with you last year where the server is not working. What's going on with that? Don't make me have to find an alternative. I need my wonderful folks to be able to call in. So hopefully it works, y'all. If it doesn't, we've been down that road before, and we'll just have to chop it up here in the chat. It's not going to stop the show. So there were some penalties, obviously, in that game, man. Holding on Minka in the third to kill the sack by Alex Highsmith. You guys might remember that one. Chooks as well gets a penalty on the kneel down, which gave the Ravens 10 seconds. That was interesting. That kind of hurt as well. It stopped the clock, and this was near the end of the game. There may have been a couple more penalties, but I don't think so. I don't think we were heavily penalized, nor was the Ravens. It was a fairly clean game on that front. Injuries that I notated: TJ Watt goes down in the first. Keanu Neal goes down in the first. Calvin Austin went down, I think, in the second. And I literally wrote, I think it was either the second or the third, but I think it was in the second. And then Larry Ogunjobi goes down as well. I know Tomlin talked about, bumps and bruises associated with play and all of that after the game. Obviously, we're approaching the bye week, so I'm not even going to, really talk about injuries right now. We will revisit that again next Tuesday, right? Once we hear Tomlin's presser and all of that. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I think I saw a press conference with Deontay Johnson and Calvin Austin on the website today, but I didn't watch it. But I just saw Deontay was in the thumbnail. Excuse me. So hopefully maybe he's talking about he's on his way back. That would be great. We desperately need it, guys. Listen, George Pickens had a heck of a game, but I think Deontay Johnson, getting him back in the fold, not only does he help open it up for everyone else because you have to respect him, but now seeing that George Pickens is able to perform the way he did, yeah, defenses are going to be a little compromised when you got to deal with Deontay and him and Calvin Austin. Getting him in the mix here and there, maybe have him rotate in and out with Allen Robinson in terms of the slot. So we definitely need Deontay Johnson. Again, the way these route combinations are working, or lack thereof, I might say, from Matt Canada, we're desperately in need of getting a guy like Deontay Johnson back in the fold because, yeah, guys, my microphone is turned down. Let me turn myself up here. It is just not. It's just not. The route combinations are just not what they need to be. Point blank, period. What else do I have here notated? So we'll talk about that next week. Again, there's no need to go into that now. And some of the guys that we hope will return, the Fryer moves to the world and people like that. We'll see. We'll talk about that on Tuesday. Sacks. If I'm not mistaken, TJ Watt had 3 sacks. Or it may have been only 2 sacks, but I wrote down the one that it was him and Quan Alexander. I felt like they combined for that sack. In the third, I didn't check to see if they gave him a half sack or not, but that's kind of what I wrote down. TJ Watt gets a sack in the second quarter. Alex Highsmith gets a sack on Lamar in the third, but it was negated by Minka's hold. TJ and Quan just talked about that one. That was in the third, and then TJ also gets another sack to essentially end the game. TJ Watt is on the tear, man. I think he has, 8 sacks already? Wow. He is on pace to exceed that sack record. We'll see. You never want to speak in future terms because guys have to stay healthy. But him and Alex Highsmith as a tandem is performing very well. Man, they said Alex Highsmith had 11 pressures. 11 pressures. And again, I want to highlight that as well because a lot of times, sometimes, again, the highlight watchers will only give people credit for sacks. Sacks is not always a reflection of pressure, right? You can be getting consistent pressure and wreaking havoc because of the pressure, which is the reason why that is a stat that they track. Pressures. That's why they track pressures. You understand what I'm saying? So, man, round of applause to Kev So Nice. Appreciate that donation, my brother. Yeah, man, Steel City Film Room. Yeah, I think they said it was 11 or at least 10, but I'm almost certain that they said it was 11 pressures in that game. That's crazy. That's insane. That's insane. And we did blitz a lot. I see No mention that. We definitely blitzed a lot. And, man, it was a pretty decent game plan, keeping Lamar Jackson in check for the most part as far as his running ability. I talked about the first drive and the first defensive series on Sunday. Let's go back to a few more of the key moments. I think I did talk about these, but in case I didn't, super key moment, man. The Steelers go 3 and out right after the Ravens touchdown. Remember the Ravens' first touchdown, and the Steelers go 3 and out right after that. That's significant. You can't do that. You can't do that, man. You have to sustain drives. However, I will say that the 3 and outs were not as many as we are accustomed to seeing, but that's a situation where you just can't go 3 and out right there. You're trying to match a team with points. If you can't score a touchdown, man, you got to at least try to sustain a drive and get a field goal, and at the very least flip the field. So at least you have an opportunity to get the ball back with good field position. So you just can't go 3 and out after that situation. I talked about Marlatt getting a sack on Kenny on the 3rd and 6 in the second quarter. Steelers were actually moving the ball on that drive, and we just couldn't do anything further. Larry Ogunjobi forces the fumble on Justice Hill in the second, and that was significant. That was huge. I think that was one of the turning points in the game, where at that point the Steelers were able to get a field goal. At that point, it was 10-3 Ravens, keeping the game within a 1-score possession, one possession game, if you will. I notated the Steelers gave up some third downs, man, quite a few in that game defensively. There was a 3rd and 11 that they gave up right after the 2-minute warning, which followed a 3rd and 18 that they gave up. But then the Steelers were able to turn them over on a 4th and 2 right before the half. So that was a weird sequence of events with the Ravens. I was even telling my cousin, who was obviously one of my best friends as well, one of the guys that was here with the Ravens, me and him watching, and I'm telling him, I said, look, I don't understand why they keep taking the ball out of Lamar's hands as a runner, because they weren't having too much problem moving the football, whether it was just traditional handoff with Hill or it was Gus Edwards, and I'm not talking about huge runs, but I'm talking like they were averaging about a 5 yard per carry average in that first half. Lamar and the keeper. Like, why would you not run the football? It just seems like sometimes, man, NFL coaches, coordinators, whatever you want to call them, they try to get a little too cute. Again, I'm sitting there telling my cousin, I'm like, yo, I don't understand why they don't run the football there. We're able to stop them, and the Steelers turn them over and missed the opportunity for the Ravens right there. Drop touchdown by Aguilar in the third. That one was clean. I mean, Lamar couldn't have put that ball in a better spot. He dropped that earlier in the game. I want to say it might have been the first or maybe the second quarter. Back-to-back plays. Remember one pass to Mark Andrews a little bit high, but he got his hands on it. Couldn't come down with it. The very next play, the throw, I think it was to Bateman, number 7. Hit him right in the hands, standing in the end zone. He can't come down with it. There's 3 opportunities right there where the Ravens should have had a touchdown. But even if you give up those, the Aguilar one was, I mean, that would have broke the Steelers back because that was a big play. That was a deep shot. And my God, did he run right past Chandon Sullivan. And I thought for sure the ref was going to be doing this. As I watched the ball, I'm like, oh, man. Right through his hands. Ravens lost the game, guys. It wasn't so much what we did because, again, our offense wasn't, missed pass interference call on Marlette in the fourth quarter. I think I talked about that, and I think I did talk about these on Sunday, but just making sure I didn't miss anything. And shout-outs to Joy Porter Jr., man, getting that interception in the end zone. Not the best thrown ball by Lamar Jackson, but it is what it is. You know, I think now it's time to get the rookie on the field. I'm going to talk about that in a moment as well. And then right off of that was a key moment because right off of that, the Steelers put a drive together and Kenny Pickett hits George Pickens for the 41-yard touchdown. Beautiful throw by Kenny Pickett. Listen, you guys can say what y'all want about Kenny Pickett, man. On that particular drive, he made quite a few throws on that drive. As I watched some of the All-22, I haven't had a chance to go through it yet because, again, you know, I don't really get a chance to even see it until today, but that's when I get home from commuting. So I literally just opened the computer at about 6:30. Haven't had any time to spend with it, but I skipped around looking at a few plays. Kenny made some throws, man, in that last drive, right? So, again, I told you guys I'm not going to argue the debate anybody about whether they like Kenny, hate Kenny. I'm going to give him credit when I think credit is deserved, and I'm going to give him criticism when I think criticism is deserved. And I'm going to interrupt myself here as I thank the infamous Tim for his donation. Thank you, brother. He says, Levi gave up 2 touchdowns. They got dropped, but the DB coach still gets on me when it happens in practice. I have an essay due, so I have to go. W show up. All right, man, Tim, I appreciate you coming through. Thank you for the donation. Definitely, man. Good luck on that essay. We're going to put that energy in the air. You're going to get an A on it. So appreciate you stopping by. And yes, Levi Wallace, man. Listen, Levi Wallace has been a little shaky in coverage. I don't think that's anything new. We all have been saying it. But now it's really starting to show itself. So, yeah, I'd rather see a little more of the rookie, personally. Kev So Nice said, did I read your super chat? Oh, no, I did. My bad, Kev. For some reason, it didn't pop up with the text. So let's read it now. My bad. He says the safeties were bad. Good thing the Ravens wide receivers had Butterfingers and JP3 needed to start because Levi not doing his job. I guess you says not doing in how you think Jones did. I think he did okay. Yeah, I'm going to talk about Jones as well in a moment. But again, thank you again for the donation. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's those two guys need to play more football. That's all I'm going to say. They need to be on the field more. Okay, a few takeaways that I had, guys, and they were short and brief. The Ravens were running the Steelers. They're running on us very early. First touchdown was mostly runs on the drive. The read action was killing us. You know, Lamar hit us for that big gain on third down. I don't know how we were playing that. And, Cole Holcomb got caught in between both, and they crashed didn't crash. They hesitated, and then Lamar, he did crash. And Lamar went around the edge Yeah, we just wasn't playing that well. And they were running the ball early on us. They got it going. The defense picked it up in the second half, but they were running the ball, man, pretty effectively in that first quarter. I wrote here, the Steelers offense remains basic and predictable, cannot sustain drives. Canada has fallen in love with running Najee Harris to the right side on second down. Have you guys noticed that? He loves running like that inside zone, off tackle at times to the right side. You know, he's in love with that play. He ran it quite often with Najee, and it just didn't seem to go anywhere. And, you know, when I look at the film, I can't wait to dive into it. I don't know if it was just us or was it the front that the Ravens was showing, but I just noticed that Matt Canada started falling in love with that run, particularly on second and long. Like, just, you know, it's just so basic and predictable, man. It's weird because I felt like Canada did a nice job of mixing up some things later in the game. I just don't understand what takes this offense so long to get going. And that's not just the players, just the play calls and such. Why do we have such a basic approach and we stick with it so long, and then we finally start to do something different and we get into somewhat of a rhythm? I just don't get it, man. I still just don't like this offense at all. I wrote here, third down defense was horrible. I already talked about the Steelers going 3 and out to start the second half. Miles Killebrew, got to give him some love, man. Round of applause to Miles Killebrew. Miles Killebrew, man, has been worth the price of admission since he's signed with the Steelers. He has made special teams plays. He has, I think, 3 blocks under his belt on the punt team as a Pittsburgh Steeler. Listen, man, shout outs to that guy. You know, a lot of times, guys, in the offseason and such, you know, we look at certain players, and a lot of times people will say, oh, we don't need him, cut this guy, but y'all don't pay attention to the value that these dudes add from a special team standpoint. Special teams is very important. Very important. And Miles Killebrew has been a standout for us. And you notice the Steelers always seem to find 1 or 2 guys like that. You know, that was Derek Watt. That was Rosie Nix. Robert Golden. I mean, numerous guys. What's the Dangerfield? Numerous guys like that, man, that have been special teams standouts. I'll give you another one who stood out pretty well last year. I can't say so much this year so far. Miles Boykin. Miles Boykin was great as a gunner last year. So a lot of times when you wonder why some of these guys that don't really get playing time are on the team, there's your answer. These dudes are like special team aces. And Miles Killebrew has been nothing short of that. So shout outs to him. That was a significant part of the game. Significant. You know, to get the safety, to go 10-5 right there, you know, 10-5, giving us a chance to where if we score a touchdown, we take the lead. That was huge. And, you know, shout outs to Rodney Williams. Almost pulled it in for a touchdown. You know, he was that close. So, and another thing we have to give him credit for as well, on the fumble by number 89. You know what? I'm even going to reduce that. I'm not even going to say number 89. I'm just going to say 89. Had Williams not been hustling and staying with the play and forcing that guy out of bounds, Ravens score on that. 89 got to go, man. Y'all see how frustrated, how upset I get when I talk about this guy. And a lot of you guys who have been rocking with me, y'all know I've been on this train since last season. Have I not? Have I not? Matter of fact, I've been on this train since we played New England and he fumbled. I was like, oh, he's a double agent playing around. But then consistently, he continues to show why I shouldn't like him on my team. 89 got to go, bro. He has got to go. Mark Malone. He says Tomlin got to go. Yeah, 89 has got to go, bro. I mean, I'm gonna keep it PG. That dude drives me crazy. Drives me crazy. Lord. And it's funny, man, because the dude, I gave him some credit in preseason. You know, he plays hard. Sometimes he makes something out of nothing. You know, he kind of, you know, he's nifty a little bit with his moves, or like I say, he plays at 100 miles per hour. But dog, you have to hold on to the football. And I know this one was a little more tricky because he kind of got, you know, hit by his own guy a little bit, but still, you have to protect the ball. And it would be different. It would be different if you didn't have a history of doing that 89. Excuse me, I was about to say number. It'd be different if you didn't have a history. You got to go. You got to go, man. He's got to go. I'm sorry. And y'all know I don't be calling for nobody's job, but you just can't do it for the Steelers. You can do it elsewhere. You just can't do it here. You got to go. Jaylen Warren, man. That ain't all. One more time for Jaylen Warren. That dude is a dog, man. A man. He's a man out there. I love this kid, man. And what's so crazy is y'all remember when we first kept him? This was when we had, what was the dude from Duke? Durant. Mateo Durant. And remember I was saying, I kind of like what he brings to the table. I didn't know a lot about Jaylen Warren. I didn't know. And kind of, you know, his little bit of his stature and this and that. I was like, man, we don't really need another guy like that. We need a fast guy. I didn't know. And see, it's okay, folks. It's okay when you don't know. It's okay when you might be wrong. There's no egos here. I was wrong. When I said, I don't know if I want him. I kind of want to keep the Mateo Durant guy. I want a different style back than what Jaylen Warren can do. But I didn't know much about him. Didn't scout him. I love this dude, man. He's touching me right here. Right here. He's touching me right in the heart, man. You know how when it's them players that they get a piece of the heart, is you like, oh, what a dog. And y'all know what I always say. As somebody who's played running back, what do I always say? It's the demeanor. Demeanor. That's what it all boils down to with me and running backs. I mean, you're supposed to have some skill if you can run the rock, right? It's demeanor. Your demeanor, your attitude, your will to do, your want to do. Jaylen Warren got it all, bro. That man's nice, bro. I likes him. You know, you throw that extra S on the like. You got to say it the Ebonics way. I likes him. Like that kid, man. That's all I got to say about him. He's nice, bro. He's nice. He is nice. And it's like oh man, he's gonna get you something. I never feel concerned about him. You know, even when it's like a 3rd and 6 and he throw a quick flare to him and I'm like, uh-oh, there go the DB. He has made me start to believe that he gonna get it. He's gonna get the first down. Somehow, some way. He's gonna make this one guy miss. And he's like deceptive quick. He got deceptive speed. He be getting around people. And I'm like, how he do that? Yeah, I'm a fan, bro. I'm a fan. And I'm gonna go as far as to say this. Because I know what some of y'all are probably going to do. Oh, they need to start him over. I like them both. I like that combination of Najee and Warren. Because I think that's part of the reason, too, why it works. Warren brings a different component in there. We don't give him a chance to key in on him or get used to him, because now you still got to worry about the bruiser, the big boy that's going to run in between the tackles. Najee been running hard too, but Najee hasn't always had. Najee ran real hard in the last game. Talking about prior to this Ravens game. But the problem that Najee is having is the offensive line is not really opening up as many holes for him. Like, he doesn't have as many clear starts. He's met with resistance early. But Najee showed me something, man, in that game. I'm forgetting who we play. Oh, in the Texans, against the Texans. He ran hard in that game. But I love the combination of them two, man. I'm really liking that. And if the offensive line can just give a little more, the Steelers got a chance to be kind of deadly in the run game, man. I just don't have faith in it, man, because I'm still seeing some inconsistencies, man, with assignment. And speaking of the linemen, I'll talk about Broderick Jones here in a second. Again, I have not watched the film. I literally have watched one quarter worth. But even if you just think about it from watching the game again, like the TV tape, Broderick Jones did good, man. Broderick held his own. And let me tell y'all something else that I noticed. And when we get to the film room, you guys that will see it, hey, I'm going to tell you something. At least early on, the offensive line wasn't that bad in that game. Again, might be TBD as I watched the entire film, but what I'm saying is there were quite a few moments that I noticed that Kenny had time. Didn't have a whole lot of pressure in his face. Gave up a couple sacks here and there. It's going to happen. But for the most part, I didn't come away from this thinking that the offensive line was as bad as I thought. Even though right after the game, my knee-jerk reaction, I was a little pissed at some of the offensive line. And I will say this. Mason Cole, man, that's why I got him in the thumbnail. He had a couple moments, but even early, again, watching the All-22, I've only watched a quarter worth, and there was 3 moments in that first quarter that I'm like, come on, man. Mason Cole, man, he's not playing as well as he did last year. He's getting beat on easy stuff. And I don't want to say easy because you got to give respect to the defender, his talent. But I mean, dude's just swimming over him with no problem. He's struggling with power. He's struggling in space where he can't get his hands on nobody. It's bad. It's looking bad. Big boy Herbig is not as much of a mauler as I thought he might be, but I'm going to give him some time because he's new to the team. I don't think Chooks was too bad in the game either. Again, you got to think about it. We didn't watch that game and we didn't really call the offensive line out. So that tells you right there that they didn't play horrible. But again, when I really dive into the film, I'll really be able to give you an assessment. But at first glance, I think the offensive line was okay. And Broderick Jones, man, I think he held up pretty well, against the Ravens. I think he did. So I think at this moment, he's probably got to continue to start. Him and JPJ, man. It's Peasy Jr. It's time. You're going to have to start rotating one of them dudes out of there. Rotate in Peterson and Wallace and let Porter just play. Let him go through his bumps and bruises and, his ups, his downs. It just might as well do it, man, because, listen, he's already been able to make some plays here and there. Whether it was in, I noticed in this game he played a little bit in nickel. They did do a little rotating. He didn't just play dime. Might as well go ahead and let that dude, let him rock. As well as Broderick Jones. It's too bad, Dan Moore, but this is what happens sometimes. You get injured, your opponent. I mean, you're not your opponent, but your teammate or the next guy behind you has to play, comes in and plays well, and this dude was a first-round pick. That's how the cookie crumbles sometimes, man. So Yeah, and absolutely. I agree with Steel City Film Room. I don't think Dan Moore is trash either. I think he is definitely solid depth, man. But it's time. It's time. You invested the first round on him. Go ahead and let the dude play. Again, like I said, with him and Joy Porter, let them go ahead and get their lumps now. These guys are going to be your starters in the future. Just let it be. Think about the Texans who gave us the beatdown. All of them rookies that they claimed that they were starting. So the days of not letting these dudes play, kill all of that, man. Kill all of that unless you got dudes who are head and shoulders above their skill level at the moment that they're rookies. If not, if it's even, or if there's some things that you see that the rookie might be able to do better, let them play. Let them play. They got to learn. They got to learn either way. So, other than that, man, my overall feelings are still the same, man. This offense is just it's not enough. And that's why I titled the video the way I did, Sunday. I don't have faith in the Steelers right now. I'm sorry. I don't. While wearing a Steelers hat, while wearing a Steelers shirt, Steelers everywhere, all over the place, doing a Steelers show, I'm going to say that. I don't have faith in them this season so far. But I'm not jumping the gun. I told you, I wait until I've seen 7 full games from my team to make my opinion on what I think they are for the current season. So they have 2 more games to shift my opinion. But as of today, I don't have faith in them. I don't have faith that the defense is going to be able to continue to get turnovers. I don't have faith that the team that we're playing are going to miss that many opportunities where they should have scored. I currently don't have all the faith in the world in Steelers' 3rd and long defense. I have 0 faith right now in the Steelers getting a touchdown on their first offensive possession. I have little to no faith that the Steelers are going to sustain drives early in the game. I have almost absolutely no faith in Matt Canada changing up his approach and the route combinations that he's calling with these pass plays, particularly on 3rd and intermediate to 3rd and long. Our game right now is throw outside the numbers when you get a one-on-one matchup. That's not always going to work, man. It didn't work against Houston, did it? Now, let's give Kenny Pickett some credit. Good job. Good job. Check into that pass to George Pickens. They all blowing it up on the media now. And, he was like, Randy, whatever that means. People speculating that it meant Randy Moss. And shout outs to Alex Kazor. I don't know. All we know is he said, Randy. And next thing you know, good. That's what I want to see out of my QB. I want the quarterback to have the autonomy to change the play. Beautiful. Great check. You got what you wanted. George Pickens gave it to Marlon Humphrey. Did the little subtle A-B push off, the little subtle one that the good receivers do. I ain't mad at that. They've done it against us too. And a beautifully thrown ball by Kenny Pickett. Like I said, hate him or love him, Kenny Pickett made some throws when he needed to in this game. Kenny Pickett stayed in the pocket a little longer in this game. He still was dancing around a little bit, and I'll have a better opinion on it come Thursday when I release the film study. But he was better. He still has warts. He still has a long way to go, in my opinion. But listen, let me just say this. A round of applause to Bettsburg. Appreciate the donation. Thank you for the donation. And real quick, I'm just curious. I see what you're saying. Mr. Malvo says stop capping. Y'all in these crazy words, man. Listen, I don't do all of that, dog. I don't do all of that. I come from a generation that it just is what it is. I don't do all these new age terms and all of that. I don't do no capping. I'm not giving Kenny Pickett too much credit for what? Like that's the thing. None of this stuff pays me. It don't pay me to support Tomlin. It don't pay me to hate Canada. It don't pay me to see potential in Kenny Pickett and then criticize him for what he. I don't understand all of this. I don't get it. Like, I don't have no agenda. You said you damn near 40. Yeah, so capping. That's this new stuff. You probably shouldn't even talk like that if you close to 40. But these are all jokes. I'm just saying, there's no agenda with me. I just give my opinion. That's why it's funny to me when I see some of y'all go back and forth in the comments. I'm like, why are y'all taking it so personal? I'm just giving my opinion. But some of y'all be so set on your opinion or your speculation that you can't. Like I said, whether you hate or love Kenny Pickett, why couldn't you give him credit for what he did on that last drive? Made the necessary throws, threw a beautiful ball to George Pickens. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. But yeah, I know you just playing. So these are all jokes too. But honestly, though, Malvo, it's others that be dead serious on some of their points. I know you playing. That's why I'm playing back with you. But yeah, let me see. Oh, we got another donation. Pittsburgh, round of applause. I sure did. I'm glad you mentioned it. He said, did y'all see Najee and Warren on the field at the same time? That could be something the offense can build on. Yeah, and it seemed like, if I'm not mistaken, every time they did it, they split one of them out, right? I didn't see like the two back set with them. If that, you know what I'm saying, like lined up in the backfield. It seemed like every time they did it, they had one going out. Like I think one time I saw Warren splitting out, but it could be something, man. And that, again, that's something that you got to account for. You don't know what's coming. Like that to me would be a time where you could probably throw a quick screen to Warren because you worrying about Najee in the backfield. Again, now you got to play the run. So yeah, that would be cool, man, if they build on that. And like I said, man, and after I say this, I'm going to check and see if the phone queue will cut back on. If not, then I'll just spend some time in the chat. I told y'all, my biggest problem with Matt Canada is I think his route combinations are beyond basic. And his situational play calling is just, it's in the toilet, man. It's just, does this guy draw up good plays from time to time? He does. Some people will say no, but see, I'm going to give you credit when credit is due. He draws up nice plays from time to time. I want to say, was it the Cleveland game? Whatever game that was where we ran the screen, the underneath screen to Warren, like he called some beautiful plays in that game. But his biggest problem is his situational play calling and his route combinations. That is my beef with Matt Canada. I'm not going to sit here and say he's completely bad because he does pull rabbits out the hat from time to time. Or if he keeps you can tell when the offense not only is just in rhythm, but you can tell the plays are being structured in rhythm. If y'all understand what I'm saying, you can see it. It's not like we're just running up against a brick wall like he likes to do early. It seems like for whatever reason in the fourth quarter or something, he'll open it up a little bit. And I'm like, why don't you just do this out the gate? That's my beef with him. Round of applause for Louis D. Appreciate the donation. He says, since Broderick Jones played very well against the Ravens, he probably earned to remain the starter. So should Moore replace Chooks or just be a backup? I can't say should, because I haven't seen enough of Moore at right tackle. I'm just being honest. He's more than likely just going to be the swing tackle at this point, where he could play either side. But I haven't seen enough of him on the right to know if I want to make that move or not. Because like I said, man, first glance, I'll know, come Thursday when I post it, I'll know after I look at the 22, like how good of a game Chooks did or didn't have. But I don't think any of them played particularly bad. You know what I mean? So, before I go yanking Chooks out, I'm not sure Dan Moore is a better right tackle than Chooks. Just being honest. Father-in-law says Canada runs on first and second down and then pass on third. That is his scheme. Yeah, but I'm not mad at the team that Baltimore runs the ball on first and second a lot, and then they'll pass occasionally on first too. It's the type of plays. It's how you scheme up the run. Canada generally runs the same basic style run, where it's mainly an inside zone, or sometimes he will run the inside zone, like the split zone, where you get somebody cracking back on the other side. And that works sometimes. Last year, when we had successful runs, we was running a lot of those wham type of runs where you'd have, a guy lined up kind of at the H-back, and then he'd come in and he'll lead the way. I haven't really seen us do that this year. The split zone, yes, we ran that last year as well, but I haven't seen some of those whams or some of those leads. And it's just the personnel utilization, the formation. His runs are very basic. Like, they're very telegraphed, if that makes sense. Like, even if you want to run like that, spread it out so you can get that box count in your favor. I don't know, man. It's bad. It's bad. Yeah, UT local bands. The route combinations, I'm going to read exactly what you said. The route combinations are atrocious at times. I mean, bad, guys. Like, horrible. All right, let me see if the phone queue will turn on, man. Give me a second. I don't think it's going to give us no love tonight. Blog Talk Radio, I tell you. It had been working very well for us, right? Nah, it ain't working. See, it's still just connecting. It ain't doing nothing. Matter of fact, I'll even show you guys what it's doing, in case somebody want to clip this part of the video. Let me show you. Hold on. Right there. Did y'all see that? Hold on. Nah, y'all can't see that. But it's just stuck. It's not gonna work, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the headset off, and I'll sit in the chat for a few moments, answer some questions or reply to some comments there, and that'll be that. Yeah, it just keeps telling me call in. It's not working. My apologies for that tonight, guys. I really wanted to hear from Steeler Nation tonight, man. I hate when it's just me talking. But what y'all got, man? Give me some comments. Let's see. Somebody said, "Oh, Mark, horrible, man, just horrible." He just said, "Which Mark?" I don't know which Mark Kenyon is replying to. I don't know if it's my man Malone or Mark Cunningham. What else y'all got? Nob says, so should we reach out to the Jets for Hardman to be our return specialist? What's it going to cost us? Don't forget, Calvin Austin, is that punt returner, once he's healthy. And what happened to, is Anthony McFarland hurt? he was doing kick returns, but then Desmond King also is a kick returner. So, and he's been returning some kicks here lately. So yeah, I don't think we reach out to Hardman for that. Reach out for Hardman. Okay, y'all said he is hurt. He's on IR. Okay, yeah, I hadn't even checked on Anthony McFarland. So yeah, man. Yeah, I don't think we reach out for that. I think we'll be okay. Round of applause, man, to Luis D. Another donation. He says he likes the way the Steelers use Quan against the screens. Yeah, that's something that, not many people have talked about. The Steelers did a fairly good job covering the screen, and definitely that one late in the fourth quarter, man, when Quan, was all over that screen, and that kind of set up that punt deep in their territory, which allowed us to block. So yeah, Quan had a very quiet, good game. You know what I mean? Steel City says, Ant-Man, I've been rooting for this guy since he was a rookie, but he just hasn't broken out yet. Yeah, man. It's tough, man. It is tough. McFarland just hasn't had a good go at it, man. He's just been hurt. And seems like that continues to happen, man. Somebody said trade for a better center. Who's out there? I wouldn't even know who's out there, to be honest. Relfax says, offense is somehow worse than it's ever been under Canada. Yes, worse than an aged Ben Roethlisberger at the helm. An offense with Rudolph, Hodges was better than this one. Wow. That's just bad. It's insane. Oh, speaking of which, shout outs to my big brother, Cousin Floyd. He said, he sent me something earlier. It was like a meme. And it came from Daniel Valenti, which, Daniel writes for Steelers Depot. He says, point differential of all NFL division leaders, point differential. The 49ers is plus 99. The Chiefs are plus 48. The Dolphins are plus 46. The Lions, shout out to the Lions, man. Keep an eye on the Lions. They're plus 41. Eagles plus 37. The Bucks plus 16. The Jaguars plus 3. The Steelers minus 31. That's horrible. It's nasty work, right, man? That's nasty. My gosh. My God. I'm telling y'all, and this is why I say I have no faith, man. I'm sorry. That's why the title says the Steelers are fool's gold leading the North. They are. 3 touchdowns. Well, let's just say at least 2, because on 2 occasions it happened on the same drive, back-to-back plays. But there were at least 2 touchdowns that the Ravens should have had. That's crazy, man. Gary, no rushing touchdown. And I got Najee on my fantasy. I must have been in fantasy world, fantasy island or somewhere when I chose him. But I was thinking that we were going to be able to run the football, and we get close and he'll punch it in. That's sad, man. That is sad. And again, combination of Matt Canada, not so consistent play with Kenny, and the offensive line. Now, again, if we're talking about the most recent game, I would put more on Canada than the offensive line and Kenny. Because like I said, I think the offensive line played fairly well. I think Kenny Pickett played fairly well in the opportunities that he had. Matt Canada's play calling, not so much. Still a lot of the same route combinations. Think about even some of those catches that George Pickens was making. Where did he make them? A lot of those was 50-50 balls, back shoulder. They even tried to throw a back shoulder to Calvin Austin on one of those third downs that we didn't convert. It's the dog. It's the most basic route combinations ever. Beyond predictable. It's almost like it's, well, either going to work or it ain't going to work. There's no creativity. It's bad, bro. It's bad. It's bad. Father-in-law, and he says this a lot. I'll read his comment. He says, Tomlin had 4 years to get the offensive line right, and the offensive line is the worst. Listen, as fans, we can place our blame wherever we feel fit, but this is where I always challenge those particular comments. Not saying, I'm going to take Tomlin out of the equation. But I hear people say that a lot too. People will say, man, they ain't did nothing and they ain't did nothing to fix that offensive line. That's not true. It's not true. In fact, most of us in this chat, most of us, myself included, were ecstatic at how much they were investing in the offensive line this past offseason. And how they basically said, we're going to play bully ball. We're going to punch guys in the mouth. They go get this big boy. They get Herbig. They draft Broderick Jones. They bring in Siamalo. Like, so it's easy for us to say coaches or whoever have had X amount of years, but they have tried every single year. Now, the miss that I would put on Tomlin and Colbert and whoever else was a part of this is drafting Kendrick Green when they did. They were trying to grab Najee, grab Freiermuth. I think, was that the same draft? I think, yeah. And then they figured they'd try to make it work with Kendrick Green. That was a bad gamble. That was horrible. But as far as everything else, they brought in Mason Cole last year. They brought in James Daniels. Like, so you can't say that they haven't attempted. It just hasn't worked. You feel me? It just hasn't worked. So that's why I always will defend the team in that regard when people make those comments like, they ain't did nothing in the last 4. You can't say they haven't tried. It just has not worked for whatever reason. And again, pick whoever you want to blame. I'm not here to deflect that. Whoever you feel like is at fault for that, have at it. I'm not going to debate you. But I just don't let those comments fly because I hear them from people all the time. Man, they knew their offensive line was bad and they ain't do nothing about it. That's not true. They tried. Maybe they just didn't bring in the right guys. Maybe that's all that was available. You know, they drafted an offensive lineman in the first round who's actually playing now. So you can't say that they are not trying to improve the offensive line. It just, again, guys, things don't happen overnight. Don't happen overnight, man. But we'll see. We could have. You're right, Randy Wagner. You're correct. They could have gotten Creed Humphrey in that draft, and they swung and missed. Again, I think Najee and Freiermuth were good picks at the time, of course. But they gambled. They gambled. They gambled, man. They probably should not have done that. They should not have done that. As far as they shouldn't have banked on Kendrick Green to be the center. Again, I'm not going to use hindsight and say, oh, they completely blew that draft. Man, you can always say that after the fact. You know how the big board works. But I do feel like maybe they should have done something a little more aggressive to get a bona fide center at that time. You got Najee. Maybe the second round, you come back and get the center instead of drafting the tight end. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I think that was a miss. That was clearly a miss. That was a miss. So And it happens. All teams do it. It ain't just the Steelers. Like I said, guys, nobody has a crystal ball. Not even you. Not even you guys. I promise you wouldn't get the draft correct. Position-wise. I promise you, none of y'all sitting in this chat, including myself, would completely get the draft correct. Picks 1 through 7. It just don't work like that. But yeah, that's the only thing I would say to that, Leonard. I'm not going to disagree with you saying, if you put the blame on Tomlin, that's fair if you want to do that. But I just don't think those type of comments really apply, because it's not like they've sat around and not tried to address the offensive line. They may not have done it the way that we or you preferred it, but you can't say they haven't done anything. Real Fact says, he's asking Steel City Film Room. He says, is there a reason why Canada hasn't utilized their tight ends at all this season? I know Moof is out, but even before now, he has less than 10 catches. Yeah, that's a great question, man, and I don't get it either. I mean, when we gonna see a ball thrown at Darnell Washington? I mean, are y'all really just taking him up on his namesake, the 6th offensive lineman? We even heard Tomlin say before the season, remember, he said verbatim that Darnell Washington is showing more in the catch game than they were expecting. Okay, so use him. Use this big, giant body of a guy who can run a little bit. Use it. Even if you're just using him as a decoy. Now, I have seen him go out in routes here and there. He has a catch or two here and there. But look at how, no comparison, I'm just saying. Look at how often Lamar Jackson goes to Mark Andrews. And like I said, I'm not comparing our tight ends to Mark Andrews, but I'm saying you can tell that it's an effort made to go to Mark Andrews, even though Andrews is nice. But that's what I'm saying. We're not seeing many plays that seem to be designed to get Muth or Washington open or making them the first option. And it's, again, there's some moments where Kenny scans the field, but there's a lot of these plays where it seems like it's designed for him to stay on one side. Like, yeah, I don't know, man. This offense is very elementary. Steel City said, that's assuming Canada knows how to call the offense. How true, man. Wow. Round of applause to see Antoine Hill. Thank you for the donation. He says, what's up? Have you heard about the Leftwich thing? Is anything official? The only thing I've heard is, just people saying, bring him in. But you said, have I heard about it? Like, has there been some real talk or something going on that you're asking about? Or are you just talking about the rumor? I'm curious about that one too. This ain't taking nothing away from Byron Leftwich, but there was Tom Brady and there was Bruce Arians and Byron Leftwich. I do wonder how much of that was just Byron Leftwich. I think he did a great job in Tampa, but it does make me wonder how much of that was him on it, himself, or was that a combination of him and Bruce Arians? And again, I'm not taking nothing away from Leftwich. I'm just wondering. Uh-oh, somebody said shots fired. What happened? Somebody said shots fired. Where's the shot? Why Diggy says the rumor is that Leftwich contacted the Steelers, but the Steelers are basically ignoring him. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Who's the source? Who put that out there? Is it one of the real sites, or who put it out there? That's interesting if that actually happened. And if it did happen, listen, I would believe it only because y'all know Steelers are not known for firing people. So they're not going to entertain it. Brent Fox says, I will admit the offensive play designs are bad, but the execution is worse. Yeah. The defense inconsistencies also worry me perhaps a bit more. I'm with you, man. I am with you. Oh, Mark. Oh, my man, Big Mark Caboli. Hey, Mark is somebody who's been around the organization for years. He writes for The Athletic. It might be true. But like I said, this is how I read that. If the Steelers are doing that, it's not because they are just ignoring him. I don't think they entertain any conversations with anybody until they show us otherwise as far as their behavior. Until they show us that they're willing to fire, I wouldn't expect them to entertain those calls from anybody because that's just not their way. And who's to say that Leftwich is the guy? See, again, this is what happens. This is what happens still in Nation. We fall victim to these ideologies, like these ideas with no real concrete information. Look. Randy Wagner just says Byron Leftwich's offense dropped down to like 18.4 points a game his last season with the Bucks. That's what I'm saying. Again, I'm not trying to poo-poo on Byron Leftwich. I like Byron Leftwich a lot. I like him. I like who he was as he touched a piece of my heart when he was at Marshall. And seeing him having the guts to still play on one leg and offensive lineman, he won me over right then. Regardless of where he went and played, I was like, I like that dude right there. I like him. I like that guy. Because I liked his mettle. But, and I do remember that. Their offense wasn't very prolific the last season or so. So, like I said, we fall in love with ideas sometimes, guys, and it's okay. That's what we do, I guess. But I don't know if that's the answer. But okay. What else, guys? I think that's gonna be it. Real Fact says Pat Pete should be in a safety corner hybrid role. Yeah, I think. Oh, that was interesting too, man. Pat Pete played a little bit in the slot against the Ravens, and they had Porter outside, so you might see more of that. Yes, we have to admit, Todd Haley. We have to admit that offense produced a lot of points and produced a lot of yards under Todd Haley. I mean, of course, he had the killer bees. That would help, but yeah, you got to admit it. Ben started taking less sacks and everything, getting the ball out quick. Somebody like Todd Haley might be able to work with a Kenny Pickett and Kenny's skill set. But yeah, Y'all are saying that Pat Surtain trade rumors are heating up. Okay. Kev says he needs to stay off his podcast. Pat Pete. John Hawk says this is 334. The Steelers need an offensive line coach, but they are getting a bit better. Matt, I have gave up on him. Yeah. Matt is just da-dun, 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 da-dun. That's what speaking of that, and we'll end on this. How y'all feel about his face after that touchdown? Yo, no emotion. Now, I joined in on the fun too, saying, yo, this dude, what is up with that? However, I will say, the more and more I watch that clip, it looks like right before they cut away, he raises up like he's about to say something or something. But it was weird to see everyone else going, yeah. And he just... And of course, the narrative was he was mad because Kenny audible. Man, there's never going to be a way for us to know the facts about that. It just was funny. I thought it was a funny thing to see. Oh, man. Hilarious, bro. Yeah, it was hilarious. And we'll never know the truth, but looking at it, man. I I was like, yo, this dude, dog. My man was just like this. Like, gee, George. I don't know. Maybe he was thinking about the next play, because we went for two. I don't know. So, again, like I said, I'm not going to be hypocritical here. I'm going to do what I always tell you guys to do. I'm not going to dive into speculation because I have no idea. It just looked funny. So, yeah, I'll join in on the fun. But I can't say what that man was really thinking. I can't 100% say he wasn't happy or he was mad because Kenny audible. I'm not going to say any of that. What I will say is, though, coaches do that sometimes. I told you guys the story, and I'll tell it again real quick. Well, hold on. We got a donation. Oh, man, a nice one, too. Man, Luis D, man, I tell you, man. You guys are too good to me, man. Round of applause to Luis D. Appreciate the donation, the additional donation. Luis says, when an O-line is engaged with a D-line, up to top, what it says, what? Up top another. Or maybe you're saying on top of one another. The O-line cannot go low. At the same time, should that apply to the defensive player engaging with running backs high and not having another player hit them low like Chubb? Yeah, man. It might be harder to prove defensively that that's intended. But yeah, if you can tell that somebody has got somebody up like this and then another guy just spears his legs out. Yeah, man, I don't like that. But like I said, I think it'll be harder to police in in-game action when it's a tackle happening. Because also they're telling guys not to go up high and no helmet-to-helmet contact. So it's almost like the defenders are already at a loss, like even with Minka. And I think Minka's hit was entirely clean. I don't think he was even aiming to take he was aiming to take his legs out. Yes, because Chubb is big and strong and he squats 1,000 pounds or whatever it is. So you want to take them legs out. But you know what I'm saying? Like I think it would be harder to police, but I definitely get your point, Luis. I just think it'll be hard to implement that. And, to me, it'll almost be kind of like how the unnecessary roughness is now, where it's just when they see it, they're just throwing the flag and they're not reviewing it. Because a lot of times these dudes ain't even hitting people in the head. It's the shoulder pad. But the refs are calling it. And I think those should be able to be challenged. I absolutely do. Oh, man. Derek Moore also owed a donation, man. You guys are dropping it. I didn't even see that one. Round of applause. He says, glad again my walk through the airport wasn't a walk of shame amongst those Miami Eagles and KC jerseys, just supporting, bro. Man, I appreciate you, Derek. I really do. You guys laid it on heavy tonight, man. I appreciate y'all wholeheartedly. I don't know why the alert didn't show that the donation hit. But what I was saying, I'll say this, guys, and then I'll get off of here. You can't say what Matt Canada was thinking. I do know sometimes coaches are mad at you when you don't do what you tell them to do. I told you guys this story before. There was a time when, it's near the end of a game and I'm out there playing in my strong safety spot. And the coach is telling me, play underneath. And I'm thinking to myself, nah, they going deep. Play underneath, just in case. We got all of that covered. In my mind, I'm like, man, they not throwing it short. Lo and behold, they hike. They don't throw it short. Guess what I do? I go way back. Get the interception. Oh, I'm feeling myself now. Pick that thing off. I'm thinking I'm housing this joint. It's raining like crazy out there. It was like a tsunami out there. I'm running, trying to make one dude miss, try to get cute, try to juke this way, get hit, fumble the ball, and luckily we recover it, right? I get to the sideline. You thinking the coach gonna be like, yeah, good job, you sealed the game. My man said, I was like, here we go. Here we go. First thing he said, what did I tell you to do? I was like, yeah, coach, but what did I tell you to do? Because what if they wouldn't have done that? And they sneak out the left side of the defense. And I was like, you're right. So I say all that to say is, even if you want to say that Matt Canada was pissed because Kenny changed the play, we'd never know. Coaches do something, but don't speculate. It just looked funny. It looked extremely funny that the man had no expression. I mean, not even the silent joint. Not even nothing. He was looking like the play was still going on. Like it was on a delay. Everybody else, and he's still like, what happened? So it did look funny, I will admit that. Another round of applause, man, to Andre Romero. We will end on this. Appreciate the donation. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I won't read it exactly how you wrote it because, YouTube will flag you now for certain words that you're not supposed to say anymore. But he said Pittsburgh scored 17 in the most absurd way. Yeah, you're correct. Nobody can disagree with that. Yep. But all right, man, I'm going to get up out of here. But before I do, boom, I need y'all to do those three things. Like, subscribe, turn on your notifications. These are easy things to ask. Just those three things is all I ask. Outside of that, guys, listen, you guys have asked again, and I keep forgetting to say it. I appreciate all of the donations that come through, man. I do. Some of you have reached out to me and said you prefer not to do it on YouTube. If you prefer to donate and you want another way to do it, I have a Cash App link. I have a PayPal link. The information, rather, is in the description. So I'm just saying it because some of you know who you are. You've reached out to me directly saying, is there another way to donate other than YouTube? So there you have it. That information is in the description. Other than that, man, I hope the phone call situation will work next week. We don't have a game this week, so really no post-game show, but we'll figure out something. I'll maybe find something to get into and make some type of video just to keep some content going since we don't have a game. But at least we don't have to have that hearts race this week. We can enjoy ourselves and relax. So outside of that, man, if we hear any breaking news, anything regarding injury or someone returning, a new player, anything, any news happening throughout Dubai, we'll definitely do a video on that. But outside of that, I will see you guys soon. Stay safe. God bless. Good night. And like always, man, I definitely appreciate you all tuning in to the latest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I shall catch you in the next one. Peace. Hold up. I'm back real quick. John Hawk says, let's go over the all 22 video. I do that, but that is only for those who are subscribed to the channel. Excuse me, not subscribed, members. It's only available for those who are members. It's a long story behind it. I can't monetize because it's NFL. Listen, my time is worth a lot. I don't put anything up that I can't monetize on it. I'm just being honest. So the way I can kind of get around that, some people have joined the channel. They pay a small monthly fee. I think the lowest is $4.99. And I make the video available to members only, and they're able to see the all 22. Today, I have about 24 members. So if you want to see that, if it's that important to you to see it, I'm not asking. I'm just giving you the option. You can join the channel. I usually get that footage out on Thursdays, so I'll be working on that as well. So that's how you can see it. All right. Outside of that, all right, I'm out. Peace.